I talked to you last time about the Persecuted Church Sunday and asked for you to consider you and your church or your trust fund or whatever to give money to help these brothers and sisters around the world that are CSRM staff and global network partners, those that have really been persecuted. That money goes to them. It doesn't go to pay my salary. It goes to these people. We want you to give to that. We also want you to give to the Giving Tuesday project that we talked about in the last podcast. More details on both of these if you go back and click on the podcast from last week. And it's as easy as going to our website, clicking on there, and it'll direct you as to how you can digitally give your money, or even if you want to write a check and mail it in. But these things are so important to us. And don't forget, we've also received matching funds for both of these. And up to the first few $1,000s, they would be matched. Anything that you give, it doubles your money. Please consider that. I want to go a little deeper on what I ended with last time on what we're doing with Overwhelming Victory Press and Overwhelming Victory Flicks. You may not even be aware of it, but CSRM established its own publication house, its own publishing house. It's been in existence now about 3 years, not quite. And we have produced already 4 books during that time. And we are on a series of at least a dozen books that are all based on what I talked about last week, the 3-tier paradigm. A Christocentric level 1 theological truth that informs a biblically based level 2 philosophical principles, out of which emerge then a level 3 methodological models that help us continue to be strategically relevant and efficiently effective. The level 1 helps us think. It helps us know why we do what we do. To know why is so important, and it also informs our ethics of how we go about doing that. The level 2 is, if the first level is kind of why, the second level is when, where, with whom. And it's our organizational principles. How do you envision your theology being organized? And then the level 3 is finally what we do. And so the Overwhelming Victory Press is producing resources that are based on that 3-tier paradigm. Now, as you know, CSRM has had a 4C strategy. The 4 C's have been conference. We've helped do regional or local conferences, like in my city, we've done those conferences from time to time. We've also done them in a broader area, like in my state or a region. And we've even done some in national things, like we've done one in Zimbabwe. We're planning to do one in England. These kind of national, what we call sports outreach summits, this is all part of our Conference C. And we're also planning a continental one for Africa. But the one that you're probably most familiar with is the Reach Gathering. And as you know, CSRM for almost 20 years did an international conference by ourselves. But about 6-7 years ago, we started talking to some of our partners in the sports outreach community, and we said, this should be more than just us. Let's do it together. And thankfully, in the first couple times, CSO, now Seed Sports, and our dear, dear brother, Bob Schindler, and our dear brother, Tim Conroe, Uncharted Waters, said, we'll join you on that. And then 3 local churches came on board. And I'm happy to announce we have a 4th one that is going through the process of becoming our 7th foundational partner. Maybe your church, maybe your sports ministry, para-ministry, would like to become one of those foundational partners. But that conference scene is now done in an international time every April. This coming year, it'll be at Asheville at Ridgecrest Conference Center. Hundreds and hundreds of people from around the world will be gathered there. So CSRM has had the C, Conference C. We've also had what we've called certification. certification exists today in two ways. We actually provide a certification. You can take this, apply this very podcast that you're watching or listening to. You could take this and put it towards an official certification, a sports outreach certification. As far as we know, it's the only one in the world. We have people that look after this. You can get the resources, and you can set your path to becoming certified. The second part of certification has its impact through universities, colleges, seminaries. About 90% of the universities and colleges, Bible colleges that have a sports outreach component to their curriculum, course, minor, major, or a concentration at the master's level, about 90% of them have contacted and CSRM, and we have helped them walk through curriculum, help walk through getting their professors, help walk them through how do they do their recruiting, etc. Some of these are even on our website, some of our partners. I'd like to particularly tell you that Barclay University will be having its next master's levels course come the new year, starting in mid-February. But you need to get signed up now for that. Also, we've had really a number of times that we've had students through the Biola seminary, and we've had conversations, and we're working through other situations with universities, like even the West Indies Theological Seminary in some of the islands in the Caribbean. We've had conversations, and we're moving forward in other places around the world. Some places that would be very interesting to many of you. You say, how can that happen in those countries? But we're moving forward. So the second C is that certification. The third C is what we call communications. As you know, the social media has changed all of this. And what used to be a envelope and letter, newsletter, has morphed into anything. It's very instantaneous. Please get on our list. Get on our weekly MailChimp and some of these other lists that we have that can send you the latest, the hyperlinks. How do you get the latest book? How do you get the latest video? How are you aware of the latest gathering? How are you all of that can come to you, connect you in many, many ways. So the third C is the connections. Lots of ways to be connected through our website and others. And then our consultation. And every year our board and staff around the world consult with churches. We're excitedly anticipating a December report from our 30-some staff around the world. At the mid-year point, at the end of June, the CSRM staff around the world had consulted with almost 900 churches, training church leaders around the world, not just in America. And we anticipate that number is going to go up. That's what your financial support for Giving Tuesday can help with, to help us with that connections, help us with that consulting. Your Giving Tuesday, remember it's the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, that you can punch a couple buttons on our website and click in. And remember, your money is matched if you give to that. Will help us continue to produce these resources. That's what this Giving Tuesday fund drive, if you will, is going for, is to help us to produce all of those products. But as CSRM has been doing those 4 C's, what we've come to realize, and what the board has just moved into, is saying we need to even kind of bore it down a little bit more. We need to get even more focused. We need to really hone into a couple things. And if you can think of a continuum that on the one side starts with what do you receive? What are the resources that you receive? And then how are you trained in them? How do you get the resources? How do you cognitively figure out what those resources are and how you can use them? And then on the other side of that continuum, how will you actually be equipped and mentored and empowered? And we like to think that on that first side, the resources, that's information. It's just the raw information. It gives you the theological truths. It gives you the organizational principles. It can suggest even some of the methodologies. But without a deeper thinking about this, without a deeper understanding of it, you're going to have a hard time to take that and maybe apply it. That's where the training comes in, the instruction. The first one, the first I, is the information. The second I is the instruction. How do you receive that instruction? You can receive that instruction by these kind of weekly podcasts. You can receive the instruction by attending the Reach Gathering or some of the other conferences. You can receive that instruction by our video training series. Do you know that CSRM has its own YouTube channel? Again, that's what your Giving Tuesday money would go to support. These ongoing training video and audio series. You can order them, you can get them, you can download them, they're archived. They can help you. And it's not just for America. There's a whole training series that our international director, JD, and myself put together. I believe there's 30-some segments within that we help you know how to do a better job of what you're doing. That's how you can get certified, but that's how you get the instruction. And then the equipping comes when you reach out to some of us, some of our staff and our board, and say, I'm struggling with this, I'm struggling with that. And we can come alongside of you, put our arms around you, equip you, empower you, mentor you. That's what we would call the inspiration. You need the information, you need the instruction, but you also need the inspiration and the encouragement and the motivation. We're not just giving you a canned program. If that's all you want, you can have it. But we're offering the personal relationships that go with it, the mentoring, those that have walked through this. Do you realize now that CSRM has celebrated 25 years? We're approaching our 26th anniversary. Do you realize that before even CSRM, that many who are within CSRM, some of us have been doing this for now 40 and even 50 years? Dare I say it, some, maybe even 60 years that the Lord has prolonged some of our lives. I think the new generations can not only inspire the older generations to keep moving and show them new ways and new methodologies, but the older generation can bring a wisdom and can bring a mentoring. And so in different ways we mentor each other through the generations. Some that have some expertises and some that have some experiences. But we need that third part of that, the information, the instructing, and the inspiring. That's what CSRM exists to do, to help inspire you. But not just say, go get them, but give you the tools to know how to do this. So, will you avail yourselves of these things? Will you financially support it? Again, Giving Tuesday gives you an opportunity to punch in a few numbers and it goes right away to support this. And keep in mind, it supports those people around the world that are much, much less fortunate. I will tell you that one of our global network partners, just this month, whole house was washed away in a flood, lost everything. Those are the kind of folks that we are trying to support. that we're trying to help raise funds with. One of our staff men in Africa, home was broken into and burglarized. He lost everything. Would you care? Are you feeling led to come alongside of them and support them? They need our support. This is what Giving Tuesday is about. This is how CSRM is trying to be involved by producing these resources, by giving you the connections you need. Maybe your church wants to take a short-term mission trip. We have people that are ready to receive you. We have people that can help you and your church's mission dollars be known that they're well spent, well accounted for. We need every one of us to get involved. I do not apologize for asking you to consider joining this community financially and prayerfully. You can do it through Giving Tuesday. We would also hope that you'd give on a monthly basis to CSRM. Every one of our staff has to raise their own salary. Our international director, JD, he needs people to come up beside him and support him financially. Our staff members in Africa, in Asia, other places need you to come and stand with them. You can designate your money to go to any of these people. So as I bring this to a close and recap it, please be in prayer for those people that are on our staff around the world that are being persecuted. And may even be by the time you watch or listen to this, they may have already been arrested or persecuted to the utmost. Will you support them? Persecuted Church Sunday. Will you come alongside of us to help Overwhelming Victory Press and Overwhelming Victory Flicks to produce the kind of resources that is being, every single week is being watched and brought into the lives and the ministries of these people around the world? Will you come alongside of us? We need you to come alongside of us. Okay, now, tune back in next week. We're not going to have a fundraiser every single week. But I know that many of your churches, they're raising funds for missions in the month of October and November. This is the time that we do this for CSRM. Those of you that have been with us and watched these scores and scores of podcasts or listened in, you know we don't ask for money, hardly ever. But we took these 2 weeks to do this because we think that you want to know how you can help the church around the world. We can guarantee you, we're audited every year. We have people that are standing over these things. These funds will be well spent. They'll be well appropriated, and they will be very well appreciated. I'm Dr. Greg Linville. On behalf of the whole CSRM family and the entire sports outreach community, thank you for watching this, and please, please do pray and give.
Luxury Beats.